thank you for doing this interview with us.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Our very first one.
I know. Glad to kick things off.
Well, you better do a good job.
I know, no pressure.
So I spent a little time with you in your office right before we started filming.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what was weird, because we were here at the same time.
We were.
Class of 2005.
Good times.
And as the students were coming into your office, they were treating you like a professor, which was weird to me because I don't know that side of you. What was that like at first?
You know, to this day, it's still weird. Every day, it feels like some strange final exam in a way for one of the comm classes, but it's definitely taking some getting used to. And I guess you don't really understand what it's like until you're on the other side of things. And being a professor here is a great thing, but it was such a shock to the system when I started.
I could imagine. When did you start this job?
I started as an adjunct in the spring of 2007, and then I started full-time that next fall, so that would be fall of 2007.
So really just 2 years after you left, pretty much.
Yeah, enough time to finish my master's degree at the University of Tennessee, and had no expectation to come back really at all or that quickly, but it just kind of happened.
So basically you're teaching students that are just 2 years younger than you. Was it hard for them to listen to you?
It was.
A lot of, who do you think you are? You're 2 years older than I am.
Right, and you know, I was really upfront about that too. You know, knowing that I had a lot to learn, knowing that, you know, as somebody under 30, that I did not have 30 years of experience in the field, but that I had some things that hopefully could help them along the way that helped me, and tried to approach it that way.
Makes sense.
And dressing up a lot, I guess, helped too.
Dressing
just
up a lot.
to kind of help that distinction.
So how did it happen? Because I spent my 4 years here in the Grace Crum Rollins Center. I love the place, TV station.
Yeah.
I would have been thrilled to come back and teach. I did not take that route, master's school, or graduate school. What was that? How did that even come about for you?
Well, during my senior year at Cumberland, I really felt like I might want to teach, and so the opportunity presented itself to go to the University of Tennessee and get my master's with an emphasis in journalism and electronic media. And at the time, especially for print, they were only offering about a couple classes here. There was a newspaper seminar class, and then there was writing for the mass media. And so I guess apparently during the time I was gone, which was a relatively short time, there had been some student interest, people wanting to take more of those classes, and just not the right person to fill that gap. And so I was talking to Dr. Keith Simmel, the chair of the communication department. Obviously, you know who that is.
Yeah.
And really just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And so he mentioned, hey, there might be an opportunity to come back. And that was, like I said, not on the plan or anything like that, but it seemed like a good idea. Carolyn, who was my fiance at the time, was still in the area, so I was like, yeah, that'd be great to be closer to her and to get some teaching experience. And it was the kind of thing that when I started, I thought, well, you know, this adjunct position, it's only for a semester, and then we'll wait and see what happens. Never expecting anything full-time to kind of shake out of it, but more of a chance for me to come to teach a journalism class that hadn't been taught before, as maybe a stepping stone to something else. And it turns out the stepping stone was coming back.
I think that he's, like, I don't know, he seems very interested in everything that his students are doing. He's always willing to help. You know, like, if I need him, I can get on Facebook and talk to him. I can tweet him. He's always around, so I don't know. It's just nice to have that. It's comforting.
He's very exciting, very fun to follow. He doesn't really waste your time, but he always provides a laugh, and you know, you want to do the work for him because you feel like you owe it to him, not because he's a teacher, but because he's your friend.
So I'm a perfectionist, and it's something that's kind of dictated my life. But through working with Jeremiah, he's really helped me like overcome that and to, you know, see my own strengths and to work with what I have without trying to be, you know, the best at something, but still showing me that I have skills to work with, and it's been really helpful.
Something else I want to ask about that I'm kind of curious about. When you first started, so you spend 4 years with these professors that you have to answer to and turn in papers on time, and they give you good grades or bad grades, and now you're working with them. What was that like?
Well, yeah, thinking of them as co-workers, oh my goodness, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was just a couple years ago when I was stressing out in their classes. But they were the most kind, gracious people, and thankfully I had done pretty well, by and large at least, in the department. So it wasn't as awkward if I had flunked out of all their classes and then been hired. But they really made it easy, because I was very weirded out at calling them by their first name. And
I was going to ask about that. I don't think I could.
It's still hard. Like, I have to practice at home, basically, and say Mary Ann instead of Miss Worthington, for example.
You practice at home?
Just initially. It's not like a daily routine or anything.
No, you don't get up and you brush your teeth. Okay, Mary Ann, Keith. Well, that's
no, but that would have worked.
What do you like most about being a college professor?
I think just seeing how people change. I mean, obviously nobody's the same coming out of college as when they came in, and so just being a part of that, and I think really being able to encourage people is a big thing. Because I mean, for me, I was the first person in my family to even go to college, and so to teach college is something that I'm always really excited and proud about, and to see somebody learn something, especially a skill, maybe in a journalism class or something like that they didn't have before, and to see them graduate being really a master at that craft, and knowing that I at least helped a little bit is so rewarding.
Just since 2005, which to me has not been that long ago,
right.
I have some friends that live in the dorms, and they're like, most people don't use their phone extensions.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Because I could not imagine. I mean, that's what we did. Call each other. Hey, you ready for lunch?
Yeah.
You had to figure out how to answer the double beep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And checking the answering machine is something that I still miss, because who called me while I was out, doing whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's on my cell phone.
Or leaving prank, greetings on other people's answering machine.
Or really strange voicemail. So when somebody called, they would have to figure out that it was me. That was one of my favorite things.
And also, you cannot walk up and down a dormitory hallway without hearing that AIM beep on Instant Messenger 500 times. I don't even think people use that anymore.
No.
Isn't that sad?
I know. Because, I didn't have a cell phone during college. And, obviously no Facebook for us. And it wasn't that long ago.
I know.
And it's so different now.
Facebook came, I was a graduate assistant, so that was in 2005, 2006. That's when Facebook came. I studied abroad the summer before that in England, and this girl was like, do you have Facebook? And I was like, what? What would you say, other than going to class and your comm classes and that kind of thing, did you learn anything like socially that might make you a better professor now while you were going to school here?
That's a good question. I think one of the things to keep in mind is, just remembering that everybody is important and has a story worth telling, and just the importance of really encouraging other people. Because I had a lot of friends that were so encouragement, during those difficult times that come with college, and now that I'm in a position to teach and instruct, not to lose that. But obviously I'm grading stuff, but also to really help support people and point out what they're doing well and their talents, I think really helps me. And that's something that I learned socially also, especially as a freshman, really quiet college freshman, and I think the more time I spent here, especially as a student, just opened up more and more, which has obviously helped me now get in front of a room of people that I don't know on the first day of class and talk to them for about an hour.
Do you still get nervous at that?
Every time, especially the first day, because I don't know these people and they don't know me, and you want to make a good first impression, and you only got one shot. So yeah, definitely still get nervous.
All right, now we've made our way here to the lovely BCC.
Yeah.
Let's also, when I asked, do you have any funny stories from the time that you were a student here?
The first thing that comes to mind is one of those snow days that we got substantial snow. And being from just about an hour and a half west of here, I forget that there's people that have never seen snow before. And so I don't know, help me out. It might have been like our sophomore or junior year. But I remember people taking the trays from the cafeteria and sledding down that hill down here.
It's not even really a hill anymore.
Right. And just thinking like they're going to die. And watching them, but not taking a part of it.
And plus, the further south that they're from, the more they freak out when it gets cold.
And the thinner the coat they have is too. So like, I have a jacket, and it's like the thinnest winter coat ever. And then something else that comes to mind is on April Fool's, my junior year, my roommate Jared and I wanted to prank the guys living next to us, and so we didn't want to like ruin their day or anything, but we wanted to just start their morning off right. And so I remember we got like a whole roll of duct tape, and we entirely duct taped the entire entrance to their door, so when they woke up in the morning, they couldn't get out without like busting through it. And I remember like sitting in the hallway like forever, because they always went to bed so early. And that night they were up talking till like 2 a.m. and I remember sitting in the hallway thinking like, when this guy's going to sleep so we can duct tape their door. You know, when are we going to be able to duct tape the thing? And that was just great. You know, because we heard them scream when they woke up with laughter.
That's funny. That's happened to me in the freshman dorm.
Wasn't me.
Also, a lot of people wouldn't know, you met your wife here at Cumberland. How did that happen?
You know, it was definitely a God thing, I think. The only other person from my high school that came to Cumberland the same year, her name was Mandy, and she ended up having Carolyn as her roommate. And so I had been friends with Carolyn's roommate since like 8th grade. Like we sat together in like history class and had been friends all throughout high school. And so she kind of introduced us and said, you know, you guys should date. And at the time, we're like, we don't even know each other. And so we met, I guess, in the CAF, and ended up getting a summer job together, I guess the summer after my junior year at a summer camp, and really got to know each other then and started dating my senior year. So it was an interesting thing because I'd kind of already written it off because it was the end of my junior year. You know, obviously.
You'd already written her off?
I'd already written the idea of finding my future spouse in college. I'm like, okay, I'm in like year 3 of 4. Haven't found, you know, that significant other. It's just not going to happen for me during college, and that's fine. And then, right when I had pretty much decided that is when we met. So. Okay.
Yeah, I see now what you mean, but that's a God thing. You almost given up, Jeremy.
Yeah. I mean, not giving up on dating, but during that season. You know.
What are some of the organizations that you were part of when you were here?
You know, I was involved in the Sidewalk Chalk drama team. That was.
And I don't think do they still do that?
I don't think they do. You know, BCM does a lot of neat things, and I think they may even have a drama team, but it's not the same vibe. I
Just
think
redesigned it probably.
Yeah, as Sidewalk Chalk. I mean, obviously I was involved in the campus newspaper, not knowing that I would eventually advise the thing when I came back. And was managing editor there. I did some camera work at UCTV 19, probably filmed some of your shows. Did you ever, I thought you directed some of Patriot Talk. I did some floor directing. Okay. So I did a little bit of that. Had a lot of fun on the radio, still have a lot of fun on the radio. It's one of the best, I guess, perks of being back is being able to be back on WCCR. And so I guess those are probably the biggest things that I was a part of.
And something else we can kind of mention, our freshman year is when 9/11 happened in 2001. Right. What do you remember about that day on campus?
You know, I remember I had two roommates my freshman year, and I remember they both came back from an earlier class and actually woke me up and said, oh my goodness, you've got to turn on the TV. This plane has hit the World Trade Center and they don't know what happened. And you know, I didn't know what to do. So I remember just getting ready for class and watching the TV at the exact last moment until I had to race off to New Testament class. And I remember, you know, everybody just feeling, you know, scared and frightened and, you know, all those things that I guess everybody felt. And I remember Dr. Young just reading from Psalms very briefly, talking about how the Lord is our shepherd. He said a quick prayer of encouragement and protection over us. And then sent us on our way to just go spend time with people we loved and encouraged us to just call our families. And I remember that being obviously a difficult experience to deal with, but glad that had worked out. You know what I just realized is during graduation, we actually walked into the ceremony together.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember?
No, I don't.
Thanks a lot.
Well, I mean, no offense. This is what I remember about graduation. I remember there was not a speaker, so everybody was like, yes, we get out of here fast. But I was like, really? This is my college graduation. I could probably drag this out
this is the one.
For an hour or so.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I'm not going to iron my gown. Who's going to iron their gown? And remember big, tall Patrick that was on the basketball team? Even he took the time to iron his gown. So there I am in this wrinkled gown, and everybody else is like dressed to the nines. I was like, I maybe should have done this differently.
Right.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is a segment called UC Rapid Fire. And I'm just going to name some things, and I want you just, if you can remember it, do it just as fast as you can, okay? So the first thing we'll look at, and we're approaching your office. Are we going in here?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay. Maybe a tour. Would you be cool with a tour?
We can do that. So this is my office with all my pop culture memorabilia and pictures of a family and a lot of toys. And this is where the office hours magic happens.
Let's get this. That's the Jeremiah that I remember from college.
Yeah, that's me.
A little more hair.
Yeah. Tiffany Carvey, who was the editor of The Patriot at the time, made that for me as kind of like my senior award from them. And I remember that spring semester, my last semester, that they had stolen this name plaque, and it was driving me bonkers because it was.
I think I remember that.
Because I remember just going around talking to everybody. Have you seen this thing? Like, who would steal, that has my name on it? It doesn't really work for anybody else. And then finally at the awards night, them giving it to me and just laughing hysterically, and obviously, the Jeremiah Award is something I gotta have in my office.
And if I remember correctly from the awards banquet, that Master DJ plaque from 2005, didn't that come with the lightsaber?
It did. And so, while I haven't figured out how to put it on the wall yet, I still got it.
I love it.
Yeah. So thankful for Dr. Simmel giving me the lightsaber. These are great.
Yeah.
The lightsaber is obviously great too.
That's a good memory. I'm glad we brought that up.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play. You can sit down and we'll play. Sure. Rapid fire. First question, I'm just going to make these up off the top of my head. First, your dorm number, not your extension, your dorm number freshman year. Do you remember it?
I don't. It was, I would guess 110. It was the big.
Which dorm did you live in?
I was in Mahan, and I was in the big room downstairs. To the right, so it was the big
to the right.
Room, so
because my first semester I was in room 113. You were probably, was it on the far end?
It was as soon as you walked through the hallway doors.
Okay, what would that number be? I can't think.
I don't know.
I used to know the patterns.
I used to know it.
Do you remember your extension?
Not a clue.
Okay. Name a meal that you liked in the caf. Because everybody had something that they liked, whether they want to admit it or not.
I remember really liking having cereal a lot. I remember, that sounds odd, but growing up, I had cereal all the time. And so, that was a huge selling point. There's always cereal. So,
there was always cereal, and that was always a good fallback.
Yeah.
Do you remember the mashed potatoes on Sunday brunch?
Sunday brunch
I would probably buy those mashed potatoes.
Always good.
Yeah. Let me see, what else can I think of? Do you remember your very first class ever?
I do. I remember I had Spanish 2, and was really kind of thrown by it because they were like, "Oh, you've had so many years of Spanish in high school, you'll be fine." And realizing, oh wow, I don't really know much Spanish at all. And it was a really early class too, so it's like, okay, 8 a.m. Let's try and do this, and I got through it.
Who was the first person that you met, the first student that you met, and you can just give me their first name in case they're not cool, and tell me, are you still in contact?
Actually, one of the first people I met was Jordan Britton, who we were talking about earlier today.
Jordan won't care if we mention his name.
He'll probably hit replay on the video over and over again so I can hear his name. But
hello, Jordan.
Hey J-Man, and I just remember because I was in marching band my freshman year, and so
Really?
there was just a few of us.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Played the trumpet for a brief amount of time, and just meeting him because we all got there, I guess, in time for whatever the first practice was.
'Cause they come early, don't they?
They do.
Okay.
They do. I guess about a week early. So I remember meeting him, and we've been really close. He was in my wedding as one of the groomsmen, and so we've kept in touch. So obviously that first meeting worked out all right.
All right, well, Jeremiah, I want to thank you again for agreeing to do this with us.
Hey,
This very
it's been
first
fun.
episode of Remembering UC.
Hey, it's been
Thank
my
you very
pleasure,
much.
Jonathan. Thank you.